Well, hi, everyone. This is the Brad Free Report on Friday, December 29th from California, where the winter meet at Santa Anita is just getting underway. We are recording this on Friday morning prior to the second day of the meet. We have plenty to talk about today. We'll talk about a very interesting race for two-year-old maidens on Saturday at Santa Anita. We'll talk about some under-the-radar two-year-olds, take a quick peek at the Grade 1 American Oaks on Saturday, and then we'll wrap up the segment with a brief discussion regarding a new wager at Santa Anita this winter, the Rolling Super High Five. And I want to talk a little bit about a conversation I had early this week with a well-known handicapper from the East Coast who is quite familiar with the Rolling Super High Five. And this handicapper had some relatively unkind things to say about the Rolling Super High Five. There are pros and cons whether or not this race or this wager should even be offered. I'm on the pro side right now, but I want to bring up the conversation because there are differences of opinion with regards to the Rolling Super High Five. But let's start off talking about some handicapping two-year-olds, and race number 2 on Saturday at Santa Anita, two-year-old maidens going a mile and 1/16 on the main track. Why are we talking about maidens right now? Because these are two-year-olds turning 3, and at least 2 of these colts have Derby aspirations. Let's take a look at the field for race number 2 on Saturday at Santa Anita, and it's led by the morning line favorite, number 1, Peace, is 7-5. Number 4, Restoring Hope, listed as the 8-5 second choice. These colts are very tough to separate on conventional handicapping, but Peace has something that his main rival in this field does not, and that is a race around 2 turns. Let's take a look at the second career start by Peace. It was at Del Mar in late November, and that's Peace on the outside of Shiver Me Timbers on the inside. It looked like Peace was going to go right on by, but Shiver Me Timbers in the pink silks on the inside, he had a little something left, and with more experience under his belt, he was able to hold off Peace. Peace did finish 8 lengths clear of third. And by the way, that third place finisher, a colt by the name of He's Stylish, he's a good one, but he came out of the race with an injury, and he is off the Derby trail. He's Stylish is. But Peace made a forward move in that race. He ran well in defeat, and we'll find out how good he is on Saturday. By the way, the colt that defeated him, Shiver Me Timbers, could show up next week in the Sham. Not certain about that, but watch for the Sham Stakes next Saturday at Santa Anita, and a colt like Shiver Me Timbers could show up in that race, and Peace will either validate or invalidate the performance. I think it was a good race by both colts. Okay, Peace will have to be on his A game because he faces a very promising second-time starter by the name of Restoring Hope. Restoring Hope, trained by Bob Baffert. By the way, Peace is trained by Richard Mandela. Restoring Hope is trained by Bob Baffert. He's a homebred son of Giants Causeway, owned and bred by Gary and Mary West. And his career debut 2 weeks ago at Los Alamitos was terrific. Let's roll the tape on Restoring Hope. And that's him on the far outside in the West pink silks. He made a big move through the turn. He lost ground. He took aim on the leaders. He could not quite get to the winner, All Out Blitz. That's All Out Blitz taking the lead right about here. Here comes Restoring Hope, and Restoring Hope will end up falling short by a nose, but a very good career debut by Restoring Hope. Some folks that I know were up in Las Vegas a week and a half or so ago, and Restoring Hope was 125-1 to win the Kentucky Derby when they hit town. By the time they left town, well, the colt was all the way down to 75-1. So hopefully those guys brought back some tickets to California to spread out in the press box. I hope so anyway. Restoring Hope down to 75-1 in the Kentucky Derby Las Vegas Future Book at the Wynn Race and Sports Book. And he'll make his second career start, Restoring Hope will, on Saturday. He's coming back in 13 days, which is a little bit on the quick side, but Baffert did this 4 or 5 years ago with a colt who finished evenly in his career debut, came back on a 14-day notice and won a route race. I'm talking a 2-year-old. What did he do in his next start after that? It was New Year's Day. He won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. So Baffert does have a history of bringing 2-year-olds back on short notice. New Year's Day was owned by Gary and Mary West. Restoring Hope, same silks, same ownership. So good race on Saturday, race number 2. Peace and Restoring Hope, that's my preference in that order. But these two are 2 very good colts, and they were tough to separate. All right, speaking of 2-year-olds, let's take a look at some under-the-radar 2-year-olds about to turn 3. And this will be one of the themes as we continue through the winter meet, because this meet is all about developing 2-year-olds on the road toward the Kentucky Derby and also the Kentucky Oaks. And some of the under-the-radar Colts and fillies. Let's put the list up and take a quick peek. At the top of the list, well, we've already talked about Peace and Restoring Hope. Who is Ike? Well, Ike, you haven't heard of him probably because he has not started yet, but he's a Bob Baffert-trained son of Painter who has been sparkling in his morning workouts. Look for Ike to make his career debut sometime very soon. Painter off to a little bit of a slow start as a stallion. It's only his first crop, but Ike is working like a good one. He's an unraced son of Painter. Choo Choo actually runs on Friday in the Eddie Logan Stakes on grass. He's a full brother to a graded stakes winner on dirt by the name of Blue Skies and Rainbows. And trainer Jerry Hollendorfer is looking forward to putting Choo Choo on the main track. So if he runs well on Friday, look for Choo Choo to take a shot in one of the Derby prep races sometime in January or February. And he might move up on dirt. We'll see. Okay, fillies. How about Midnight Bisou? Midnight Bisou. She's a maiden, but she's a good maiden. And the reason I say this is because she lost photo finishes in her first 2 starts to none other than Dream Tree. What did Dream Tree do following her most recent start? She dominated the Starlet down at Los Alamitos. So Midnight Bisou is still a maiden, and trainer Bill Spar has options with her. Probably will nominate to the Grade 2 Santa Ynez on January 7th. There's also a maiden race the following week that Midnight Bisou could show up in. Runner-up by a nose to a subsequent Grade 1 winner, Midnight Bisou, a good one for Spar, and so is Typhoscia. Typhoscia is a 3-start maiden, runner-up all 3 times, and she also finished second to a Grade 1 winner. She was runner-up behind Moonshine Memories in a maiden race in August at Del Mar, and all that Moonshine Memories did after that was win the Del Mar Debutante and the Chandelier Stakes at Santa Anita before she misfired in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. But Typhoscia is on the comeback trail for trainer Doug O'Neill. 3 consecutive runner-up finishes, highly rated all 3. She's a daughter of Flatter, and looking forward to her comeback sometime this winter. All right, those are 2-year-olds. Just a short list of under-the-radar 2-year-olds. Let's talk about some older fillies. 3-year-old fillies going 1 1/4 miles on grass in the Grade 1 American Oaks. It's race number 7 on Saturday at Santa Anita. As we put up the field, a field of 10 3-year-old fillies entered this race, and the morning line favorite is number 8, Rimska. There are 2 others, New Money Honey and Coach Whip on the outside, but the morning line favorite, number 8, Rimska. Why is she the morning line favorite? Well, a couple reasons. A, she's trained by Chad Brown. B, she's in good form. And C, she's fast. And when I say fast, I mean she is one fast finisher. As we roll the tape on Rimska's most recent start, it was at Aqueduct, and she was far back early behind a slow pace, but Rimska on the outside will blast home to win the Winter Memories, going away by 1 1/4 lengths. And after she hits the front, Jockey Irad Ortiz, it looked like he had a little something left at the wire. This is a filly in absolutely top form, and Rimska is the 5-2 favorite on the morning line in the American Oaks. It's far from a 1-horse race. I like her quite a bit, Rimska, but you have to recognize there are some good ones in here, including another Chad Brown trainee by the name of New Money Honey. She has run super in all 5 starts on grass, all 5 starts away from Keeneland. She's run twice at Keeneland, off the board both times on grass, but in her other grass starts, 5 starts on grass outside Keeneland, 4 wins and a second. And New Money Honey, she's good. She's also trained by Chad Brown, so he has a top 1-2 punch. And Ken McPeak ships in with Daddy's Lil Darling, who has been keeping very good company. We know that she can get the distance. So those are the 3 main contenders, Rimska, New Money Honey, and Daddy's Lil Darling. There are some long shots in here that I will be using underneath in the Exacta and or Try, including the razor sharp Kathy's Song. She's 20-1. She's coming in off a big win at Golden Gate Fields. Big step up in class for Kathy's Song. Number 3, Bernina Star. First time Quinto Sormo. That is an angle for sure. And down on the bottom, number 10, Coach Whip, who is listed at 20-1. Lightly raced, runner-up finisher last time out behind Kathy's Song. So a couple of horses returning from Golden Gate Fields, Kathy's Song and Coach Whip. Big prices, sharp fillies in good form. Looking forward to seeing if they can at least outrun their odds in the Grade 1 American Oaks. Okay, I promised that we're going to talk a little bit about the Rolling Super High Five. And I want to reiterate a conversation that I had with a well-known handicapper on the East Coast. We were talking off the record, so I'm not going to identify the person. But here's what he said about the Super High Five, which, by the way, is offered all day long this winter at Santa Anita. And I'm just going to kind of paraphrase, quote what he said. He said, look, the Super High Five carryovers are a scam built on the backs of Joe Nobody to build up the pool for big players who have access to rebates. And then when the pool gets high enough, the big players jump in and they just completely overwhelm small players. Now, I don't necessarily agree with that take, but I bring it up because there's the possibility, at least, that those concerns are legitimate. Do big players have an advantage over small players in these super exotic pools? Yes, absolutely they do. But what's the difference between a Super High Five carryover and a Pick Six carryover? Well, it all depends on how, as far as a handicapping and wagering perspective goes, how much money do you have to spend? And when you start fashioning your ticket and constructing a ticket, sometimes you get to the point where, well, I like this horse, but I can't afford to use him or her. When that happens, it's time to just wrap up and don't make the bet. I'm not sure how often the Super High Five is worth attacking. It certainly was not worth attacking with any regularity on opening day. The very first pool on December 26th handled all of $3,900. The second pool, $2,100. Let's take a look at the stats from opening day. It's Rolling Super High Five. The early race pools 1 through 4 averaged only slightly more than 3,000. The late race pools, races 5 on, all got up to 10,000 or higher. The Tuesday carryovers, 1,600 and 4,600. That's peanuts. Those are not big enough to shoot for. And it's true that big players do have the advantage in some of these rolling Super High Fives and super exotics. But there are exceptions. And one of those exceptions might actually unfold on Friday. Nobody hit the rolling Super High Five on Tuesday's final race. So there's a carryover into Friday of more than $28,000 into the first race on the card. And the question is the Super High Five in race number 1 easy enough for a small guy to maybe take a swing at? Now, easy is in quotations because there is no easy spot. There is no easy wager, and there's no slam dunk winner. We see that all the time. We saw Collected get beat on opening day at a short price. There's nothing easy about this game, but there are situations that are easier than other situations, and one of those might unfold in race number 1 Friday. Why do I say that? Because it's a maiden 20 sprint for fillies and mares. Bottom of the barrel maiden claiming races in Southern California happen to be one of the most formful class levels in all of racing. Favorites dominate, long shots can't run, and it's not that tough to find a winner in a maiden 20. So I'm going to suggest that maybe a small guy like you and me might have a shot in the opening race on Friday. So let's take a look at just an example of a potential Super High Five play. This would be a $27 wager, and basically what it boils down to is a one-way exacta with number 4, Chris is Cookin', over the second choice Insubordination. Now, how often do you just slam a one-way exacta? I don't do it very often, but that's how I'm going to play the Super High Five on Friday. A small play. It's a one-way exacta virtually. 4, 3, and then I will put 3 horses in the 3 hole, numbers 1, 6, and 7. I will add number 8 to the 4 hole and add number 2 to the 5 hole. So that's 4 with 3 with 1, 6, 7 with 1, 6, 7, 8 with 1, 2, 6, 7, 8. That's a $27 play, and it basically boils down to a one-way exacta using numbers 4 and 3. And they have to run 1, 2, and then we have to pick up some of those scrambles in the 3, 4, 5 holes. I'm not sure about the rolling Super High Five. But I'm going to take a little swing at it on Friday in race number 1, and we will monitor the Super High Five this winter at Santa Anita. And maybe it's not such a good bet after all. I'm going to go into Friday believing that still there are situations that a small guy actually does have a shot. It's the winter meet at Santa Anita. Good maiden race. Race 2 on Saturday, Peace and Restoring Hope. Looking for Rimska to win the Grade 1 American Oaks on Saturday as well. This is the Brad Free Report, and I'll see you next time.